G'day people, how are we? Just moving the washing basket because it's one of those days. So, today's subject, when Muzz gets on in, it's inspired by one of Muzz's posts that he put on, probably on his Instagram via his new TikTok. So if you haven't checked him out, check him out. He's having fun making content and there's some good information there for everyone to share. But, we will discuss the points of, we're doing something different and why it's okay, and the social anxiety that comes when you do something different, and people's perceptions on when you do something different, how to deal with the judgment. Whether it's just perceived judgment, it could all be in your head. People might be looking out of curiosity, but they may not actually be judging you in a negative way, which may be part of what your brain has created as far as your anxiety about the new thing you've started to be different. Be a better version of yourself, or do something to make more money. So there's all these things that pop up, and some people will speak up about it. Some people will, just talk behind your back for a better description. But Muzz was the chief at inspiring this conversation, so I will wait for him to get on. We'll just put a message in the group chat. So when he gets here, I'll get him to lean in that conversation a bit more, because it was obviously something that he wanted to get off his chest. And we can all feel that at certain stages, like, I won't go too deep into it, but, first day at a footy club, first day racing cars, all these new places we go trying to do different things. Certain groups accept you in certain ways, and different eras of people accept you in different ways. So, and that's part of the greater journey. And in today's day and age of being online entrepreneurs, and there's no shortage of us, lots of people are online trying to sell something, and it's about what are you selling, and how to create essentially what is a personal brand. So what is your brand and what are you selling is essentially the thing. So shout out to all the farmers and everything that have done the Keep Your Sheep campaign. Get on that, share that around, people, because there's nothing that some of us farmers need more than to keep the markets open for our sheep, because I'm currently dealing with an overstocking problem due to the lack of market space. So that is the facts of life at the moment. But double bonus is finished the cropping part of the program, so get to relax a little. That's life. That's life as a farmer. And double bonus for you guys is a friend of mine, a long-time friend and bloke I admire through off-road racing. He posted something on his Facebook the other day, which I asked him to share because I felt for the story and I thought it needed sharing. So if you're seeing this live, go back into the group after and check out the post about my mate Ian, because I knew he served and I knew he was in the SAS, but I didn't know about the family history and stuff. And for people who serve, there's a mental toll created. So you are a changed human being for doing so, and you're a greater human being for doing so. So thank you is the short answer. But well, Muzz, where are you, mate? You were in the chat not a minute ago. I'd love to see where Muzz is. Wonder if I can send him an invite. I can see him now. Muzz is on now. I see him popped up in the video. Let's get him on. Get him on. Get him on. One, two, three. Internet worked for me. Where'd he go? Where'd you go? You were there. You were loading. What went wrong? What went wrong? Muzz. Try that. Try adding Muzz. He was there. I saw him. We'll go again. Magic voodoo fingers. Magic. There we go. There's Murray joining.
Right. G'day.
G'day, Muzz.
Sorry for the muck around. It's been everyone started ringing as soon as you got on, and I'm just trying
You're
to
a
find
wanted
somewhere to
man.
pull up. Wanted man in Kansas City. Wanted man, all the rest. Good song. How is everyone today?
Everyone's been awesome so far, and so you're the leader of this conversation today, Muzz, and I suppose I'll lean you into it a bit more as you're pulling over in a spot so you can talk to us. Starting businesses and doing things different cause people to look at us, whether we like it or not, and that creates a social anxiety, and whether it is within our brain and mentally created images of what people may or may not perceive of us, true or untrue. So, and it's okay to be different and do different things. It's like first day at footy clubs, first day for me at off-road racing, and how people looked at, who's the new guy, what's he got, what's his car, or the first day you go down to footy training and the big guys, the veterans look at you, who's this little kid, can he play, can't he play, and that feeling of judgment that you get. And that as online entrepreneurs, because there's tens of thousands of us now, not just selling this one, everyone's got some sort of pitch online, whether they're pitching a small ticket product, high ticket product. Everyone's trying to sell something to make extra coin. So everyone's looking at everyone, and everyone's creating personal brands and therefore judgment, fair or unfair. And you were talking into this about when you went shopping to town the other day, Muzz, in one of your posts that I saw. So do you want to sort of break into that conversation a bit more about where you thought your head was at, and do you think those thoughts were justified, unjustified, true, untrue?
So there we go, Stuart. I feel like we've got a bad connection here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, look, what I was talking about the other day in my post is a personal thing, but it's so true what you said from a
I don't know if you're frozen.
Sorry, Stuart?
I don't know whether you paused or the internet paused, and you're back now. So continue on.
Oh, righto. We'll try again. But for a lot of our followers here, things like it's still stock handling. So people look at you sideways because you want to do the best by your animals that you can. And it's probably a good topic of conversation considering the recent events with the live sheep export, which we won't go into too much because most of us, we have our feelings about it, and it's pretty strong. I think we're in a safe place with that here.
Hashtag keep the sheep.
Hashtag keep the sheep. But we are learning, it's becoming more common about good practice, but there are still people who look at you like you've got two heads when you talk about looking after animals in a low stress environment. And I think where we're going to try and take this conversation today is making sure that everyone, that you yourself, who is the two-headed monster, realise that you're not. You're doing what's right for you and what you believe in. And so for me the other day, I didn't realise, I had a doctor tell me I had social anxiety when I was 20, and so whether I'm actually diagnosed with it or not, I don't know. Whatever. But I do feel self-inflicted pressure of my imagined perception of people's judgment. And being in an imaginary dilemma, it's worse than it actually is. So now, like I said in my thing, basically if I find people or think people are staring at me, and it feels like it, and I can go further into that, but that's another story. And this probably I hope this comes across okay, but I kind of put the pressure back on them to look after me. Like, that's why I look back at people and say, hi, how are you? If they are looking at me and a lot of the time, I shouldn't say a lot of the time, I reckon 50% of the time, most people will turn away and, he acknowledged me, how dare he? But
and that would be their fear response.
Well, and that's a very good point. And because, it is, and you do see it, but, because depending on what they're thinking at the time or whatever, they do. And they do look fearful. And, I don't think I'm that scary. I can be, but I don't need to be. But then you get the other people who, and this is where it's really interesting, is that you do open up that thing. So, I'm not a threat. I am me. Just fucking talk to me. And so you say, you open up yourself and say, hi, how are you? Oh, hello. And this is where, unfortunately, I get caught in the middle of Bunnings talking to someone for half an hour. Because I've removed the threat for myself by putting the pressure back on them, and not probably put the pressure back on them, but just saying that I am actually a human being. Don't treat me as an object to be just looked at. Or, trying to dismiss my own fear, my own anxiety by dealing with it. So getting back to what you're saying before, Stuart, about being different. We are all different, but I think to a certain degree, people who are online, entrepreneurs in the online space, whether they're business or just like me at the moment, I'm just having fun putting up stuff. And if you're putting yourself out there, people who put themselves out there, I think, are a bit different, because you've got to be a bit confident in how you it is a confidence thing. I think it does take a bit of confidence on my behalf, Scotty's behalf, a lot of people on the online space, to put yourself out there. So it is recognised, and it's just you do come across people. I haven't come across it for a long time, but you do come across people who will take it negatively. And so, and you've said it before in the past, where you have to be okay with yourself me first. And if you don't like it, that's fine. That's your prerogative. That's your thing. Just don't talk to me. Simple. Don't. I'm probably waffling here, Stuart, but it's a very interesting discussion.
Yeah. So if I lean into my perception of that, we'll say that, and I'll talk quite selfishly about myself on that journey. So the fear is real. So even when I go out now at 44, if I go down to the footy club, I still am deathly afraid of someone actually asking me what I'm doing. And even when they, to the point where I will freeze or deflect in a different part of a conversation rather than actually talk about what I'm doing, because in a form of keyboard warrior style, behind the camera, there's a safety for me so I can do this. But you then put me in a room full of 100 people and say, do this. It takes me time to warm up to that conversation or that feeling of safety, to be open, to discuss all these things. And then whether or people you know, because behind the camera, you don't see someone roll their eyes. You don't see someone shake their head or something like that. You know, there's those sort of reactions that we humanly respond to. So like going to Bunnings and walking down the shops or down the tool aisle or something, you just walk past another bloke and I just nod my head, how you going, mate? Yeah, and you go, yep, good. And yourself? I go, yep, good. Really simple conversation, but actually had no connection to it. Where people who might go, some people can take that as a different thing. And I've started saying people will go, how you going? And to trigger a conversation and not be that standard, it's almost dismissive when someone says good and you. Where if I go, they go, how you going? And I go, winning. So they go, oh, you are. You're doing something different and you're winning. So, all right. So then maybe that's interesting. It might trigger something for them to ask a question. You know, like seeding's been a big talking point locally of late, and I'm pretty sure there won't be too many people still going. Most of us have got it done and dusted in the last week or so. Myself finished up Friday night, so yay for that. But they'll ask you, how's your cropping going? And I don't have to divulge that I've had hydraulic ram seals blowing and there's been a shit of a run. And I'll just go, yeah, good, we're getting there. It's got a few challenges, we're getting, oh, good. That was sort of a blanket question that they ask, and they don't really want to hear the whole sob story, which is the same when they go, if I'm walking down the shops and people are staring because I'm wearing a fancy jumper or wearing something with something on the shirt that I want them to read, that's why I wore the shirt, but then they're reading it and having a smile and a giggle, they may or may not make a comment, but they're going to stare at me to read the shirt. And the way that the brain works to go, people are staring at me, what do I do? It's like, what's going on here? Because for years, and it feels like a long time for me, the journey of being the small guy or the unheard guy, blah, 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 picked on at high school, go sit in the corner and try and stay out of the spotlight. And then you come out to work and you just do enough to get the job done, and you don't want to get in the spotlight because you might get the tall poppy syndrome where people try and chop you down. So you don't want to get in the spotlight. And then we go and do something slightly crazy like, let's all start an online business and become a personal brand. Now you have to throw yourself at the mercy of the internet, and people are going to look and poke fingers and likes and comments and stuff like that. And you have to travel that journey, which for me is a really uncomfortable journey. To be comfortable on camera is one thing, but to be comfortable in front of people is something I still haven't conquered yet. So one of the dreams would be to be standing on stage at a Freedom Fest or go to a Nagic to get my 6A2 acknowledgement, go shake Mr. Shiro's hand or something along those lines. And the anxiety of standing in front of 10,000 people, and they're looking going, yeah, he made the level, good on him. But then as if they're not going to go and look and see who I was or the journey, or, you know, which is why on one of my pages somewhere I've left up one of the first videos I've done in an updated version. So it shows growth, but that's only growth behind the camera. So that's the safety aspect. It doesn't show any growth for me being able to go down the pub and have random people in the pub, be workers coming through the tent, and being able to approach that conversation and be open for them to ask me questions, not just about the business, but life in general. Like an example was the other week where, for whatever reason, Jack and I were down there having a couple of bevies after a game. It was after one of the games, one of the away games, and we ducked in on the way home. But because he's a very bubbly personality, he will bust into any group unashamedly and start a conversation and want to be involved in whatever's got him intrigued in whatever they're doing. So for that, it was a game of pool. From that started massive discussions about one, being good at something. Two, the back chat, the sledging, handle the sledging, dish it out, take it, and not be upset about it. So, little kids get away with a fair bit of sledging, and trying to teach him, as we turned that lesson later in night to go, that look, sledging might be funny at 8, it might be funny then, but it's not funny when you're 13 and you say that to another 13-year-old who gets offended by it, because he's probably going to give you one on the nose. So you got to understand the social situation, which is where you can and can't say certain things. It's a bit like the rules of the internet and what we can and can't say about the business. Can't make money claims. You can't do certain things. There are trigger words that the algorithm picks up as to what you can and can't say, as to whether your video stays up or whether they infringe you for content, whatever. Haven't had one of them for a while. Get very choosy at the words I say. But talking to those guys in that situation about, they go, what do you do? And my answer is, I'm a farmer and ... pause. And they go, and what? So, and I am an online entrepreneur and an investor and stuff like that. So, all right, so what do you invest in? What do you do online? Well, I associated with a high ticket affiliate product, and I make Facebook videos and stuff and talk about stuff online. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some people go, all right, do you have a page I can follow? Yeah, easy. Flat out page, follow, like, done. But the comfortability or the nervousness to start that conversation was negated by having to be involved with these people because my son was involved. So I didn't directly break into that conversation because I have this little bundle of energy that's my instant in to a million conversations.
Yeah.
So, but the fear when they ask, so what do you do? The fear to go, well, what do I say? Do I simplify it to go, I am a farmer, but I'm not just a farmer? Or do you go, I'm an online entrepreneur? And they go, fucking isn't everyone? Yeah. What are you selling? Right? So yeah, it's the conversation and so it's what you say to how they treat you, and I suppose it's all part of a sales technique in an essence. Is one, how to start a conversation, two, how to lead the conversation towards your business, and then how to get from led to your business to a greater conversation on where they would want to change their life with your business, copycatting what you do, to go, within a similar, because you do it your way and I do it my way, and I wear stupid shirts and you wear your lovely flowery shirts and all that sort of stuff that whatever you had on the other day in that post. And we each do it different. And Scotty loves wearing his cowboy hat and his blue jeans and dance around with his horses in the background. We all do it. We're all doing the same thing, just different. And we all have to be looked at different, which doesn't make us feel good.
And that's, which what, sorry?
Which doesn't make us always feel good, being looked at.
No. And that's where the discomfort comes in, is, we nearly put a target on our backs. And that's a pretty strong statement, I realise that, but to a certain degree, it's something that we kind of know until it happens. Something goes wrong, or somebody says something and it sits there in the back of your mind, forever. And I'm very lucky with the people who follow me. I very rarely and haven't had an issue for a long time. But mind you, I've got a lot of things in place too to protect me. With my previous mentor, she taught a lot about putting those protections in place, you know, make sure certain keywords aren't brought up in conversation and comments and things. Very, someone's put effort into making it come across, and that hurts. But that's where we have to learn, again, not just for us in the business, but anyone who's on the online space or in the real world, that person's opinion, it doesn't actually reflect who you are. And that's something that I have to remind myself all the time, that I'm me. And I'm proud of what I've done so far in real life and online. But as you said before, Stuart, the biggest thing that, you know, is tricky and that with being online is that we do have this screen as a protective barrier. And so I don't know about yourself, but I know for me, I would be careful with some of the things I say, because you can find yourself in a trap of saying things publicly that you probably shouldn't. I make one of my unwritten rules that I don't say online what I wouldn't say to someone's face in the real world. Because if I'm not prepared to say it in the real world, there's no way in hell. I mean, some of these people who, you know, as you said, keyboard warriors, it is a real thing. And reading some of the stuff that's online, you know, I'm starting to really engage with some other people, you know, between the three platforms. And I read a lot of other people's comments and other people's posts. And some of the crap that people put on someone else's post in the thing of open speech, whatever it is, how dare you? How dare you put someone down like that? There's no way that you would say that to that person's face, but you're willing to use your keyboard to bloody cut through that person's heart and soul to just get at them because you've got a problem with them, or you know, you've had a bad day.
And that's the well, what do we call them? Trolls.
Log cabin in the woods.
Muzz, I don't know.
Trucks,
I don't know how the signal's going,
no,
mate. You're cutting in and out, so I'm not catching everything you're saying. You're back now. I can see you moving, but for me, I don't know how much of that actually comes through on the camera. Say that again.
Righto, mate. Well, maybe I might have to close up shop then.
I don't know. Yeah, look, I think we've probably broached a fair bit of a subject for people to talk into. So if we let this simmer on the internet for a bit, and we'll see what reels come out of it, because I think we've certainly triggered some thought process for. Yeah, we're both cutting each in and out. If we wrap it up and we let the people have the conversations about, you know, what it is to be different, social anxiety, who's trying to sell you what, and what are you selling? Because essentially everyone being the personal brand, that's what people identify as. So then what you display on the internet, if that's what you can be in person down the shops or in Bunnings, then you're an authentic human being. You're an authentic person as a brand. Like the actors that play, you know, Henry Cavill is he's like one of my favourite actors at the moment. Played some great roles. But then when he does his interviews and he talks about how much of a nerd he is, reads books, plays Warhammer 40,000 with the little figures and stuff like that, he's still true to himself, regardless of how much, you know, how much he sees on TV. You know, he's done Superman and The Witcher and all those sort of things, some great roles, but he doesn't carry those roles out of the movie and then make that who he is offline. He's still a bit of a nerd, king of the nerds, for lack of a better description. And it's a great, authentic person to watch. So to emulate something like that, you know, I'd love to be king of the water gods wearing a Viking hat, because that's literally over there, right?
Absolutely.
That's part of promotion within this group of what we're trying to sell is water products. But then being authentic people, so like you do your farm stuff and your station stuff, and I do my farm stuff, and there's sheep stuff and all that sort of stuff, and Scotty does his mining stuff with his horses and his family life. So it's all the same but different. We all want to have the conversation with people about the business and how to have that conversation without getting called a weirdo because I wore a Viking hat or had the bunny ears on the other week with the fortnight gun for Easter. So, you know, doing the silly things like that create attention, but whether that attention creates what you want can create the social anxiety, the fear, you know, and then whether the conversations are to you or about you are legitimate, and what that does inside your brain. There's a whole rabbit hole, for lack of a better description right now. There's a great huge rabbit hole that we go down, and I could talk for hours on that subject, because the places that I personally have gone in perceived opinions, justified or unjustified, over the years of changing my brand, I suppose, as far as who I was at 25 to who I was at 35 to who I'm going to be at 45. I'm not there yet. That's next year. But the difference in who I am as far as what people might see online versus what you see down the shops. And it's not just the clothes I wear or the beard that I've grown. There's a whole shift of lifestyle behind that I want people to know about. That's why I put it online. That's why we do these things. But it's a massive conversation.
It is a massive conversation. It's I think, you know, there's one part of me that sometimes goes, there's been a big thing in me lately learning about, there are some actions that, you know, there's a quote about, how's it go? Basically, the moral what I'm trying to say right now is that not everyone has to know what you're doing. Let results speak for themselves. But that there is different ways to better yourself and improve yourself. Anyway, looks like I've cut out again, so I will see you all later. Thanks for today.
You did as soon as you started talking, Muzz. It's sort of, whether it's where you are parked and when the internet wants to download what you're saying, every time you move, your camera goes blurry and then it starts to glitch. But if you, it's like, oh, well. But, yeah, we're winning. We've started a conversation.
Well, it sounds good, my friend. Well, look, I'll let you be, because this is, I don't know about you, it's getting painful on my end. So I'll talk to you later, and thanks for having a conversation and I'm glad that I could. Hopefully, I was a bit of an I'm glad that we had this discussion, and as you know, this sort of thing's a bit close to my heart. So thank you again, and thanks to everyone for watching us today.
Thanks for opening up the subject of a can of worms, I suppose, Muzz. We've opened up the ripper.
I hope so. Anyway, mate, I'll get out of here, and I'll let you sign off. Cheers.
All right. Good work, Muzz. So thanks to Muzz for the idea, and I hope everyone got some value out of that. I certainly did. And if you feel that that's one of the reasons why you wouldn't start an online business, because you don't want to put your face out there or be a personal brand, there's a conversation to be had about that as well. So feel free to hit us up in the chats. Within this group, there's a chat. So if you want, even if you want to direct message us, we can have a chat about it, about all these things as to why and why not, and how personally challenging is why they call it personal development, how that sort of stuff comes across. So simple with that. Like to thank all the farmers that grow all the food. You're doing a wonderful job. Hashtag keep the sheep. Thanks to all the truckies that move all the goods around Australia. Again, hashtag keep the sheep. And thanks to all these service people and veterans that have served and protected us. If you haven't read that post I put up in this group about my mate Ian, go and read it. It's a really big story for me to hear that, and I had to share it with you guys. So give it some love. Thank him for his service. I'd love to share that back with him because his family's put a lot into this country. So, all right, peace out. Have a good one, people. That's us for today.